Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the elusive moonducktv podcast, What the Duck. We're here with episode number 27. Oh boy, we are back again. It's been a while since we've done one of these guys, and we were so excited that Slacks still has yet to make it. We've got a big empty square here to accommodate the space that is Slacks. Hopefully he'll join us at some point. He is in Sweden, so I guess possibly jet-lagged. Maybe he fell asleep. Who knows? But Sir Action Slacks might be joining us. Aside from that, we've got the old crew here, Mr. Suns fan, of course, Purge Gamers, and one of the new faces at Moonduck, Mr. Shane O'Mad.
What's cracking?
Woo!
How's it going? It's good to be here. I actually haven't watched any of your shows, but I've seen some highlights, and from what I can tell, it's generally talking about hentai and shitting yourself. Is like the main outline.
There's been a lot of
show.
poop. There's been a lot of poop on the show.
That's good to see. Okay.
No problem.
Or at least those are the ones that are popular and get to the front page. So that's if you aspiring casters, just talk about poop more often.
Yeah,
you'll make it.
That's true. It worked for us at least. We've had a couple of good moments here. I think the biggest bit we've had was the Pokemon Snap thing from Slacks. It made it on the Australian News Network. It has like 300,000 views or something. It's like this weird viral video. You didn't see that one, Shane?
No.
Where he was gonna win the competition to go to Australia on a safari for playing Pokemon Snap and finding Mew.
It was like a contest.
Yeah, and
really?
then his dad never sent the letter in, and it was
he had to write this like really long essay. He said he spent like weeks on it. And
yeah,
his dad never mailed
sure
it.
It was all a lie.
He was like, "You were gonna fucking lose anyways."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was
I don't
really
even
some
know
stone cold shit.
What, is Pokemon Snap some sort of card game?
You never played that game? It came out in like
No.
the 90s, maybe early 2000s, and it was like a
Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it was Nintendo 64, and you'd ride in a cart, and you'd like be on a nature safari cart through the wilderness, and you'd take pictures of Pokemon. And the better picture you took, the higher score you got. So he had to take like a really high score picture of the most rare, most difficult to take a picture of Pokemon, and then he had to submit that.
Yeah,
and write an essay.
It was a real heartbreaker. It's on the Moonduck YouTube. I recommend. I see people linking it in Twitch chat. So there you go, folks. Easy access. It's a good one.
That's our new content creation. We'll just replay old good things that we've accomplished.
Woo! Welcome to
we'll
What the Duck.
Everybody's dream. That's everyone's dream to be able to just rehash.
It's like esports syndication,
Recycle.
man.
Yeah.
Just click the rebroadcast button from episode 1 and just keep going through the first 26 episodes.
I mean, nobody watches the show, so they won't know it's
Yeah.
old.
That's a
This
good
show,
point.
is this new?
Oh, dude, we're up to 477 right now. Don't pretend like there's nobody here.
Guys, our audience is YouTube. Come on, this VOD will get 10,000 views. I know those aren't exactly Dota cinema numbers, but for Moonduck, that's high quality content.
Do you just sit at home and refresh the page so it looks good, do you?
I do, yes. We keep a real-time
is-
graph on the wall.
With ad blocker turned off. Mark, get back in the office and click more.
When
We
was
do
the last
some
What the
desperate
Duck?
things.
6
Long
weeks
been.
ago? 5 weeks ago? It's been a while. So DAC happened. Kevin as well as Slacks, or Purge rather, and Slacks were there. We didn't really jam one in because Kiev came up. Again, Slacks and Purge were actually there. A lot of us were casting remotely. So here we are in the post-Kiev, now even looking forward towards TI. The compendiums just come out. So we've got a whole laundry list of things to talk about, and I don't know how far back to DAC we really want to go. It doesn't seem so interesting now that the majors happened.
I actually forget what happened.
So basically, OG wrecked the whole tournament, and then in the upper bracket finals, they beat IG 2-1, and then in grand finals, they played IG again, and IG 3-0 them, which was pretty surprising. But IG looked really good at that tournament. It was a pretty good tournament. I feel like everything's been so busy the last month and a half. At least it has for me. Has it been the same for you guys too?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of PUBG.
Yeah, the
Shane.
PUBG. Oh, God.
My goodness.
Oh, it's been
Taking
really
up a lot of my time.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, you and Slacks, I think, have definitely had the busiest schedule by far. And now Slacks is in Sweden doing Dream League, and then he's going to be going to, is it Manila? Is that where he's headed after Dream League?
Yeah, I think so. Manila Masters.
Yeah, so I think he still has another stop before he comes home. So he's on the serious
him and
gauntlet.
Trent. And it's not just Slacks. Trent's going too, right?
Go
Oh,
Trent.
yeah. Mr. Trent
Why isn't
Pax.
Trent on this show? We're not gonna have another What the Duck until after that event.
He's
Trent,
too
are you
big for us
excited
now.
for the event that you're going to go to in a week and a half? Tell us about
Yeah.
it.
Slacks didn't even fucking show up. Could have just gotten Trent.
Trent would have been here, but he actually did have family stuff today. So, had to deal with the in-laws. Sometimes real life, he's married. He's more of a real person than some of us, I suppose. Speaking of real people, what's going on in your world, Suns fan? I feel like I haven't talked to you that much outside of PUBG.
I've had a lot of free time, I won't lie. Actually looking for a house. Might be buying one soon.
Whoa.
First house. So that's pretty fun.
You're sick of throwing your rent money away like me?
Yeah, it just got to a point where I'm like, I don't understand what I'm doing with my life anymore. I need to, because I was too afraid to invest. I have a really good investment guy. Actually, it's the same guy as you, Purge.
He's good.
You gave me his contact. He's been really good, but I feel really bad because I'm too afraid to invest because of Trump. Even though it's illogical in a lot of ways, I feel like something's gonna happen, and I'm gonna regret putting even like $1,000 anywhere.
Okay, but what he would tell me, and he has told me before, is that you shouldn't necessarily play around those fears because in the long run, you're more likely to be wrong, and any gains that you could have gotten up until that point would be wasted because you haven't invested.
So you're always wrong.
Trump it's unprecedented, right? You never know what's actually how
unprecedented.
That too, yes. But yeah, it's illogical, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
I mean, usually the big fluctuations you see when he does crazy stuff, it's temporary. It lasts for a couple of days or at most a week, and then the market kind of levels out again. So I think Purge is right. Overall, I mean, unless he starts a crazy war or, we actually have a nuclear war or something, that might really fuck up the economy. We'll be real. Outside of that, though, I don't know. So house is a safe bet, though, Suns fan? That's what you're thinking? Or is that where are we going to do a hub there?
You can. It's going to be huge.
You have the gigabit, baby.
Like the area that I'm not going to say what area it is, but you get so much value per square foot. So the house is actually enormous.
You moving
in the
Kansas?
middle of nowhere or something? Yeah.
It's on. I wouldn't say it's. I'm in the middle of nowhere right now, so it's not going to be as bad. But yeah, still middle of nowhere.
You live in like an old person neighborhood right now.
Yeah, it's great actually. It's really great.
Why?
You have a guard at the gate.
They don't leave. I had old neighbors. Yeah. They literally never left the house, and a new family just moved in, and they have this like really obnoxious dog, so they're constantly walking in and out, which makes my dog bark, and their dog barks all the time.
That sounds like
so much better to have elderly neighbors.
What do you think they say about you and your dog? A similar thing?
I mean, my dog doesn't bark all the time. It's like if she hears somebody kind of outside, then she starts barking. But
you know how bad it is.
I have to beat her a little.
I don't leave the house, right? My neighbor will bring in my trash can to my door because I forget to bring it in after one night.
Isn't that just embarrassing?
You're forcing an elderly person to do that?
I don't know who the neighbor is. Like, should I be upset that he's doing it? Is that like an insult, or is he being nice?
That guy is talking shit about you at every single family function. Family comes over, and he's just like, will you believe this asshole? He leaves his trash cans out so long that I have to go over and put them in so they're not in the goddamn road.
It's less than 24 hours. Come on.
Maybe he just feels bad for him, and he's like, oh, I'll just help this poor innocent young man out. He's just in here. He just plays his video games. He's scared about the outside
they don't
world.
know it's a young guy. I've never left the fucking house. I could be like 80 years old.
There's this autistic hermit.
Yeah.
I'm just handicapped. It's fine.
That's why communication is important. It's either like they're just trying to be nice, or they fucking hate your guts, and you don't really know.
What about a letter system?
That's why I'm moving.
Write a letter on the bin, and then just leave it for him, and he can open up lines of communication.
Dude, at Christmas, just stick a 20 in there. Be like, hey man, thanks a lot. You made my year better.
Every Thursday.
I'm up for that.
Jesus.
All right. Well, since we've been talking about your new lifestyle change, Suns fan, I want to get personal. What was it like to watch DC play at Kiev?
I didn't.
You just didn't? Did you just not watch the tournament?
I watched a lot more once it was past round of 16.
Didn't I watch the game with you? The DC, we were kind of watching it when playing PUBG, I believe.
I mean, remember? I might have had it in the background, yeah.
Yeah.
My schedule was really messed up because of Kiev. I just fixed my schedule and then Kiev happened. I don't know. It was whatever,
And by DC,
it is weird to some degree.
Do you mean
Onyx what do you mean by DC?
or Thunderbirds?
That's part 2 of the question.
Yeah, well, I was definitely rooting for Thunderbirds. I was really surprised they didn't go any further than round 60. But what I did notice was that they are say notice, but when I saw that they were playing against EG, I'm like, they lost. Because historically speaking, they're just awful against EG. I don't know what it is. It's one of those things like TNC versus Faceless, right?
Yeah.
Faceless just has their numbers. I feel like it's the same kind of thing. EG just always beats them.
They didn't do too well in the groups either, didn't they? Not Thunderbirds.
I thought they did.
They,
okay.
they went 2-1 or 1-2 in all games.
2-2.
Yeah.
They played really good teams. So
They
let me look at
beat
it.
Liquid and VCJ, and they lost to TNC and OG. So yeah, all
Yeah.
4 tough matchups.
And VTJ got what, second round? TNC lost first round. Liquid lost. I don't remember.
Yeah.
What do you
Somewhere
think
early,
of the
but
format
those are all
of
good
this thing?
teams. I loved it personally. I think out of all the teams, Thunderbirds got fucked the most by the format
Yeah.
because they did have to play EG. But I really liked watching it. I felt like the group stage was not only impactful, but like every series would determine who your opponents were. It wasn't like hey, these are the 4 teams that you have to play. You have to play them each once, and it'll just happen by the time the group stage ends. I don't feel like that's an engaging format for where I want to like watch the progress at every stage. It's more like I want to tune in occasionally and be like, what are the current standings? But to separate it into groups every single time that a match happens, that makes it more interesting to see these like trends happening. And like, I thought it was
Would
really
you
cool.
prefer this over double elimination or?
That's a different question, I guess, because you could still have double elim with this. It would just take longer, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think single elim is pretty good. I personally like it as a viewer. If I was a player or on a team, I probably wouldn't like it.
That's basically what it is, right?
I think it's
That's
the other
literally
way.
what it
Like
is.
as a viewer, for me, I think if it's double elim, you get higher quality games in general. Like the finals is always going to be probably the 2 best teams. You know, it's a higher chance.
From a viewer perspective, does that matter though? You want to watch exciting stuff. You want to have a storyline.
I guess, yeah.
Well, double
Yeah.
elim can definitely coincide with creating storylines. One of the ways I like doing it is having a double elim bracket where some teams are seeded upper bracket and some teams are seeded lower bracket. So it doesn't take quite as long, and it makes the group stage maybe a little bit more impactful. I think that was one of the complaints about this into single elim is the group stage is purely for seeding. You know, TNC and Faceless were on complete opposite sides of the group. They still match up in the first round. You know, Faceless kind of has their number. That doesn't happen quite as much if you have that double elim buffer, kind of like Shane's talking about.
Faceless
then
actually had a really tough road too. They had to play VP, EG, Liquid, and SG, and they only beat SG. So like,
Yeah.
there's definitely outliers. I mean, what everybody said was that Swiss format's the best if your initial seeding is great. So like the first teams that play in round 1 when everybody's 0-0, that's the most important seeding in the whole thing because it heavily determines which way
Right.
things are going to go. But then there's teams that upset a lot. Like DC won their first match against Newbie, and then they won another set later. Like that's what messes things up and like gives you like these really weird matchups. So it's definitely a little unfair. Maybe Swiss is too RNG, perhaps.
I think there was
But-
like a few like clumps of teams, like the TNC Faceless clump with OG Team Random. That was really stacked. Like I think TNC could have done really well in this tournament. So could have Faceless. Like both of them were playing really, really well, but they just came up to OG really early, and then
It's like single elimination is kind of like March Madness. It is a lot of it's RNG because anybody can beat anybody on any given day in a best of 3.
Yeah.
With that said, think of TI. Wings got third in their group at TI, and then they fucking stomped the rest of the tournament. Like group stage, I mean, maybe it's like effort or other stuff, but I personally thought that the group stage format was very fun to watch and very fun to track, and
Yeah.
makes it better. And,
but then like if you look at Fnatic, they came like last in the groups, or like second last.
Fnatic,
at TI.
who are you talking about?
At TI.
Oh, TI.
Yeah, and then they came fourth.
What about it?
So so the group stage isn't always. I don't think it really means as much, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
I
think-
think there's always an aspect of the group stage too that is like there's a learning component. You know, every big
Yeah.
tournament like that develops its own mini meta while the tournament's happening, and the group stage is part of that discovery process. So we've seen a lot of
That's
times,
a great point.
yeah, where teams get rolled in a group stage match and go, okay, now we figured out what VP's doing. Let's take away these heroes. Let's pick these specific heroes, whatever, and it completely changes the bracket stage.
Or they
That's
like
why it's
completely
important.
fundamentally change how they play. Like I think that's what happened to Fnatic. Like they totally changed their play style when they went to the main event. They were like, okay, let's start again, kind of thing.
Right, right.
You have to group stage to basically develop seeding and to let the meta figure itself out. and then that hopefully makes a better main stage. In terms of like the double elim thing, the one downside of the double elim is it's longer, and that usually forces best of one elimination matches, which sucks ass.
Yeah.
Like I personally think best of one elimination matches is the worst of all of the negative things that exist in Dota tournaments. Even if it's like two low ranked bad teams that have to win a BO1, like it feels shitty.
Yeah.
It's
I
always on
actually
the
would've lost, like-
first day as well. There's just this like first day where there's like 4 BO1s, and it's just awful to watch. You know what I mean? These teams just getting destroyed.
It's a pretty brutal day. I think
It's like unemotional too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the best parts about the Swiss format is that unpredictability. That's what kept me really engaged all the way through. I found myself in past majors tuning out the group stage a little bit because it's just so many games to follow and it's a little bit overwhelming. I also casted some of the games in this one, so I think that helps maintain your interest. I got to cast VP's first series. I mean, they looked on fire for the group stage, so it was fun watching them throughout the entire bracket. They looked crisp.
I kind of like the group stage of TI4 format, round robin, and I think the issue was
one
there
group?
were, yeah.
The-
The issue
the
was the
groups-
game itself sucked balls back then, so people don't have good impressions of it. And then number 2, some teams were eliminated before they even got to main stage, which was terrible. But I think the group stage itself was good.
This TI4 format, I believe the top like 3 teams or 4 teams all got really far in the tournament as well. Except for, was it EG at the time? There was
I don't
one.
remember.
It was all like, it was Newbie, VP, or not
Newbie
VP,
didn't do that well. Newbie was almost got eliminated in tiebreakers at TI4.
Really?
Yeah, they were like middle of the pack, and then they ended up winning. It was like Vici Gaming or something. Is maybe
Yeah.
what you're thinking.
Vici, yeah.
I like the format personally. And I think it's still fine that majors are 2-day groups, 4-day main event, because I don't think people want to watch like a 1.5 week long tournament every 4 months. So
Yeah.
I was overall very happy with the format. I liked it a lot. Good storylines. OG wins another major. I think the only thing left for them is winning TI really. And I think if they win TI, I think you're going to start getting some heavy anti-fans, just because people would be sick of them winning. They're definitely getting to that point, I think. Don't you guys think?
The anti-hero.
They're winning too much, basically.
Their personalities are very likable though.
Absolutely.
So on that side of things, like if anyone knows a lot about the team, they just like them. They're likable guys. You know what I mean? They really are.
How disappointed are they going to be if they lose TI? I mean, how
I mean-
just think about it. Like they win every major basically, but they can't win TI.
It's like a
You know-
curse almost.
Yeah.
If I was winning 2 majors a year, which is $400,000, I don't think I give a shit. Honestly, as much.
I think they do though.
I would still care.
I
think
don't,
they really
I
do.
don't think they give a shit about the money anymore. It's more about the actual just winning TI. Like they have so much money now. It's whatever.
prestige.
Okay, but if you win the literal big shit tournament for that 3-month period 4 times, I think it's pretty fucking clear they were able to be the best of the best. Even if it's not TI, the money's not the same, obviously, and it's not like getting the one lucky shot that makes the Dota Cinema Plays of the Week or whatever. But they fucking have high MMR anyways. Is basically what it is, right? Like they're still making really good money. They're not insanely high earning, which is kind of crazy, but that's just because they haven't won TI yet, right? But they've proved they're good. They still win the tournaments regularly.
What
still-
are we debating? I don't understand what we're debating.
I still think you're thinking about it from like a business kind of side of things rather than just like, you know, a dude that plays video games that just wants to be the best, you know, and show that he's the best and win the tournament.
I think they've already proved that they're the best. I think that's easy to say.
In their minds, though, they haven't won TI, right? So
I don't. In my opinion, I don't think it matters. I don't think they have to win TI for somebody to say that like Flying No Tail are 2 of the most historied and most winningest team like players.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think they are the best, yes, but at the same
No,
time,
I agree with that, but I also think that they care a lot more about TI than the
Okay.
majors.
It's probably
A lot
absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah.
And
They don't
they'll
have
be
an
super
aegis yet.
disappointed.
I don't know. It's like, so when EG was on top, you know, they have some bad boy personalities where you can understand why there are polarized fans either love them or they hate them. I kind of agree with Shane. I have trouble imagining fans that are just like, fuck S4. I hope you lose. You know, like some of their.
I agree.
Same with Fly. You know, they're just really jovial, nice people that it's hard to cheer against them, even if you're not a diehard fan.
But
Anna kind of looks like a teddy bear as well. So he's like just smiling, like.
personality-wise, I agree with you guys. But I think if OG continues dominating everything, people are going to start rooting against them. It's like the super underdog thing. Like if you win that much, like OG is at this point the most winning Dota team of all time over a long period of time, right? As an organization, as Flying No Tail, like people are going to want the other people to win. Like I kind of wanted VP to win because they're fucking in Kiev and the crowd would have been insane, right? But with that said, OG didn't have a Mystic staff yet, so they deserve that. But like at some point, people are going to want other teams to win, and it will create negativity, and it will bleed towards the organization just because they're ready.
If you look at Navi,
Slacks
it's kind of similar, right? Navi back in the day were winning everything, and people just loved them.
Yeah.
No one really went against them. Similar story, like their personalities, like Dendy.
But there's more blowback if they do start failing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because then all the haters that were biding their time, like I knew they weren't actually good.
Just ready to type at the keyboard, like.
Oh my.
There's probably some truth to that. I don't know if it's gonna be that hardcore though. I'm thinking like between other sports is Hi, Slacks. My goodness.
I don't think he's in TeamSpeak yet.
He looks like he just woke up.
Yeah, let me fix these overlays here real quick. So sorry guys, I'm gonna need a second.
So like if I compare to other sports, like I hate the Lakers, right? Because they have an unfair advantage. At least this is how I view it. They have an unfair advantage because of a big market team. They get better players a lot of the time.
And location, right?
Right. The location is part of the big market thing. So I don't know if you can't say that about OG, obviously, because it's just skill based for the most part. But hello, Slacks.
Hello, I fucked
Slacks.
up. I forgot.
How could you forget your Moonduck responsibilities? That is shameful.
You asked what it was 8 hours ago. You were like aware. What happened?
I didn't know that time went so fast. I've just been playing Dota,
In
waiting.
Sweden, it goes so much faster.
It does, guys. How late am I? Did we start?
We've
We're
talked
just starting
about
now.
almost nothing for 20 minutes.
Dank. All right, I'm here. Sorry, everyone. I didn't get myself ready at all. This is the real me, guys. You're
The real
seeing it
me.
live.
Are you in a bathroom?
How do I
Pretty
turn off
echoey.
the echo? Yeah. I thought it was on my end. I thought I had the...
That's just because he's in a room with no furniture, probably.
You might just need to mute Zoom.
Let me see.
Oh,
Windows.
Slacks
okay.
is just used to luxury now. He gets these
shit.
3,000 square feet apartment rented out for him by every tournament organizer.
Yep, he's a big deal now. So anyway, Slacks, TLDR, we basically were talking about nonsense, and then we moved into the Kiev Major. We touched on DAC a little bit, but it's so far in the rear view that it seems not worth talking about anymore. So we were just talking about Kiev storylines, most notably OG, and how thirsty they are for the international win.
There's no fucking storyline. Whoop-de-doo. OG won another major. Woo!
There's a
cares?
anti-fan right there.
Number one.
That's Slacks for you.
Now, we were talking about if they're happy with that, or if they're always in the back of their minds, they're thinking about TI and the TI victory. You know what I mean? If
I think they would trade all 4 majors for 1 TI, by the way.
Absolutely. I'd trade
Yeah.
it for the money at least. Holy shit. Who cares about majors?
Even if it was the same money, I think.
I would definitely take 4 majors over a
What?
TI win. 4 majors win is fucking insane. That's like Wings wins TI and then they're dead. They suck. They don't suck, but you know they're not a top 4 team ever again.
OG wins 2 majors, loses TI, they break up as well.
Yeah, so what? But they
TI
also won 2
breaks up
majors,
everybody.
and then Flying No Tail went on to win another 2 majors with a
Dude.
mostly new squad.
Do you think if OG won TI, they'd still continue at the same like skill level, or would they turn into Wings? Would they like flop off?
I'm
and just-
excited to see if that happens. Actually, would they die to the I'm
Yeah.
successful, time to get lazy thing that happens to almost every team that gets good? DC.
Damn.
Hey, we won a tournament. Or they won a tournament.
Oh, that's true. I think you
EG
can say
is one of
we
the
if
few,
you're-
right?
EG is one of the few that comes back from
That
it.
did well after.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely
mean,
had a drop off period.
It
Certainly.
wasn't like
Not as
big a drop-off
extreme,
as
though.
anybody else, though.
It was not newbie level drop off.
They had some changes as well, though, right, in the roster. So
I think
So
so.
there's a newbie level drop, and apparently there's a Wings one, which is lower than that because they are literally not even a thing anymore, which is crazy, by the way.
I guess that's
like-
true.
What game
I
did
know
they play?
nothing about this situation. I know nothing about the situation other than like the org thing, right? But there has to be something more to it. The players just can't stand each other. There's no
I heard
other
they were all
explanation in my
playing
mind.
Final Fantasy something, or like some online
'Cause
MMO.
I heard
They were
that
all
game
playing-
was
Again,
awesome,
they would have
to be
gotten
fair.
Got
invited
'em
to
again.
TI, right? A last place invite, or a last place is like 100K. Like, obviously, we can't be in their shoes, but you'd think that if they were even on halfway decent terms, they would have just taken the money and the free invite.
I need to
Yeah.
go back. I gotta go back to Purge's comment. Purge, dude, I know winning 4 majors is dank, but this is like TI money, bro. When you talk to your grandkids, you're not gonna be like, I was a 4-time major winner. Be like, grandkids were millionaires because I used to play video games. I mean, that's the story you tell.
Yeah, but I think they care more about the prestige than they do about the dollar signs. And I think almost every single top player, like guaranteed, at least like half of the players at a major or something, I guarantee all they care about though is the win more so than the money.
Oh.
I mean,
Well, it depends on the team. They're like the newer teams definitely care about the money, right? Like Ad Finum and stuff like that. You're at that level playing Dota all your life, and you win anything, you're happy. You know, you could get to pay the bills. But like OG, they've earned a considerable amount of money. Like all the dream leagues, they've won a load of tournaments, right? So
Dude.
at this stage, it's not about money, right?
I mean,
yes,
I
it
kind of
is.
disagree about that.
Yes, it is. You
I
win
think
one
TI
major.
is so much.
yeah.
1 major is the
Maybe.
prestige. 2 majors is the unthinkable. 4 majors, it's just another fucking tournament at that point. Who cares if you keep winning majors?
Well, I wouldn't just say that either, though.
Well,
I don't know where I'm standing here, but everyone feels wrong to me.
I'd also like to point out that No-Tail is the 17th place for highest earnings in Dota 2, and Fly was like 21st. So despite winning 4 major tournaments, they aren't even close to the top.
Yeah.
Like
Jesus.
Misery's higher earning, Puppy's up there, S4's at 13th after
see,
winning a
that's,
TI.
that's fucking depressing.
It's basically like all Wings
Yeah.
and EG, and those are all the guys that are ahead. And basically anybody that has actually won a TI is all above them.
Can I hit you guys with a number real quick that's kind of staggering? TNC, their lifetime earnings 1.4 million. And that came from that Olympic style tournament. Remember? What was it called? I actually can't remember the name of it.
Oh, yeah. WESG?
WESG. That's where I think they got 800,000 out of that. But still, talk about life-changing money. That is a team in the Philippines with 1.4 million USD. Jeez.
yeah.
Well,
Those
they're
guys
in
care
good
about
shape.
the money, I'm sure.
How much goes to the players in that region? Probably about the same, I guess. So.
But still, that's wild. Anyway,
Yeah, that's pretty
sorry.
crazy.
Just for and so OG's
okay.
lifetime earnings is like 5.4 million. So substantially more, but you know.
All right, so my stance is that OG, at least
Yep.
No-Tail and Fly are the best combo of all time, easily.
Better
Yeah.
than
Just
FY
the best-
Fenrir?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think this
Yes.
is too much. This is too consistent to ignore anymore, right? I mean, I think after 3 that was
Absolutely.
pretty evident.
Yeah.
I do think that they would be beyond disappointed if they lose TI though.
Dude,
Like,
they fucked
They would
up.
trade.
Of
They
course.
would trade multiple majors for a TI still.
Mark my words, there's 0 chance OG's gonna win TI. Because you don't win a major and then go and win TI. Every single person in the world is gonna be poring over those replays like they were the fucking
Wouldn't
Bible.
you say the same thing about the major though? That they would be doing that.
No, because OG has consistently been like kind of we don't know how well they'll do. Maybe they'll win, maybe they won't. But come on, it's 4 majors now. That's gone. Man.
Slacks,
Where did you have OG in your rankings going into TI?
Slacks, we predicted OG to win the fucking tournament, and we
Well,
got those
'cause
2.5
we're fucking
votes.
geniuses. I mean, we're better than pro players for God's sakes. I mean, they're dumb, but now even the dummies will be able to predict that these guys are hot shit, and they're gonna every single replay they have is gonna be just poured over. There's no way that they're gonna get even top 3.
It depends on when the patch is as well, right? If there's a patch close-ish, they won't have replays to go
Yeah,
on.
is there going to be a patch? There should be a
Yeah.
patch soon, right? And then maybe another smaller one.
Really? You
before
guys think
TI.
there'll be a patch? Can we? I think we've talked about OG enough personally.
Sure.
I'd be down to talk about patch expectations. I actually don't even think they should have a patch for at least a month. I feel like there's been a patch every 2 weeks for like 3 months, 4 months.
But they're mostly like fixes though, right?
It's like
I don't know.
small buffs to heroes that aren't touched and small nerfs to heroes that are OP. I just want the game to settle. Is
What
that
has
weird to
happened
say?
historically? Have patches come out like within 2 or 3 months of TI? Is that pretty normal?
There's
No, of
usually
course.
there's usually one about a month or 2 months before it. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not like huge or anything.
No,
They're
it's just tweaks, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like with the compendium coming out, there's enough like cool, new, interesting shit in the game right now. They don't even have to
Right.
patch the game. Like I don't think anybody cares right now. Oh, they're like, I need to get fucking levels for $0. That's what I need right now. I don't even the game
Here-
balance.
here's
I
the-
just want to level up.
Here's the question, though, right? I remember somebody was talking about it at the major. OG winning with a bunch of illusion heroes, but nobody else is really doing it, right? So the question is, will teams figure out what the hell they're doing right, and then everybody starts quote unquote abusing it? By the time TI rolls around, then TI is just all illusion heroes. Is that a possibility?
That's a shallow view of the game balance, I think. Yeah, they use illusion heroes, but the reason that they use illusion heroes is because it's an easy way to push lanes and to get damage on towers without any threat to your hero, because it's just a fucking illusion. That's why like those heroes are strong most of the time. So I don't think it's really the thing.
It's No-Tail playing it as well. He just uses it to kind of create space for Ana, right? So that's kind of just the way they play.
Sometimes.
Like even when he plays Naga, he doesn't play it as greedily as other people play Naga.
Yeah, he definitely fights early sometimes. Yeah. The one game, I remember one that he played really well, where he did that fought a lot before Radiance, but I don't think there's like a secret key to the way that OG plays the game that needs to be discovered. What do you think, Slacks?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Guys,
I don't think there's not a secret key to OG, in my opinion.
Okay.
How did we get back to OG and start talking about game balance? What the fuck?
If I can derail, I want to talk about the other G. I want to talk about SG. Can we pivot to South American Dota? Okay, are we all a little bit more excited about South American qualifiers moving into TI now that we saw a team that made it through those ridiculous qualifiers?
I was wrong,
can
everybody.
Perform on the big stage, cause some upsets, give a few big teams a run for their money. I mean, those are some of the most exciting games of the whole goddamn major. It was the SG EG series that was really heated after Secret.
The Secret one,
yeah.
Well, that was
but you're asking how the qualifiers are going to go. There's one team that we know is good now, right?
Well, just in general. I mean, is this literally just one good team in the entire region, or is this an example of the region itself is not as much of a joke as a lot of people thought it was?
Well, they must scrim someone, right? Like they must play against other teams. I assume so. Or did they will they move to America?
They go in raw dog, Shane. I'm pretty sure.
Just we'll wing it.
That's how you do it in South America here. No, yeah. But they were. I mean, that's the thing though, right? Like some people might say, oh, it was kind of a fluke because it was such little amount of games, but that you could tell just by that. Like it wasn't like best of ones or anything, right?
Yeah, that was not a fluke. Those guys were really fucking legit. Like their carry player was actually insanely good. And I don't know if they swapped roles, but it was like the Lina, the first game that they won was amazing, and then the Juggernaut and the Storm. The guy played Storm was pretty good. But
did you see when he was dropping his basher and like fake attacking it?
I did.
Oh my god!
I said something about it on stream and I made it to Reddit because it was actually so fucking stupid.
That was hilarious, dude.
I couldn't believe that he's like a butterfly.
Yep.
It tilts you so hard seeing that. It's like so much disrespect, right? It really is. It's like look at this.
I don't see it as disrespect. I see it as him doing something like unnecessarily risky that is stupid. So if that happened to me against me, I would be like, that guy's a dumbass. That's all I would brush up.
Shane, you actually think that tilts players?
Yeah, I think.
I think it tilts his own team, if anything. I don't give a
shit. They're used to it by now. Like, he clearly does it quite a lot. He was pretty confident in that ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a recent clip where he did it in a pub and he actually attacked his item and destroyed it.
Yeah, his Tango. Yeah, he was doing a different method though. People were saying he dropped it, would attack it, and then pick it up right before his animation hit it, which was different than the attack cancel your animation, which is what he did in the actual game.
Yeah, it's a riskier version. What was the 4DR? Was that him?
4DR.
King
HFN. I think it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, he was the Juggernaut player. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as a backseat to those guys, I got to hang out with them a lot because they're nice new players and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A really cool group of guys. Pretty much remind me of Advenom in Boston. Just hungry to win, hungry to play, running around with big smiles on their faces. So really a good team to get behind. I like those guys a lot. Much better than EG. Fuck those kids. Nah, I'm just kidding. EG was actually really nice to me this tournament.
Wow.
Thank you, guys.
You're moving up in the world, Slack.
What changed?
Yeah.
What changed? I don't know. We did that bit with Arteezy and Crit, and they were really not into it. Like the one where we went to the spa, and they were like, "Oh fuck, why are you making me do this?" And then I was like, "How do you guys think we could make this funnier?" And then they were super into it. Arteezy's like, "Dude, what if we like blurred out my whole bottom so it looks like I have a dick? And I can't believe nobody saw this. Can I tell this story real quick?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so Arteezy's like, yo, we should blur out my bottom so it looks like I have a dick. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I go up to the editor and I was like, hey, can we blur the bottom of the bathrobe? And he's like, yeah. And we try to blur it. And if you just blur the white part of the bathrobe, it just looks like a white blob. So then I was like, I think we have to find a dick online and put it on Arteezy and then blur it. So that's what we did. We like copy pasted a dick online and then blurred it. And it's only, I can't believe nobody saw this, but in that video, in the spa video, only for like a quarter of a second, Arteezy's like walking towards SPG and there's a blurred out dick and nobody commented. Nobody saw it. It cracks me up every time. But yeah. Turns out if you let the pros tell you what they want to do, they'll get more into it. So
you gotta get them involved in the creative process so that they feel like they're creating something, not just like being pranked. Is probably the difference.
Although the one where we did prank the new DC was pretty hilarious, and they were definitely not in the creative process for that one.
What was the prank?
I don't think I saw
Lord
Lord
what is his name?
Cuxworth.
Lord
Oh,
Cuxworth.
that was
You guys
great.
didn't see that video.
That
It
was so good.
It almost fell off the cliff. It was very close.
Fuck me. Thank God for Dubu.
Yeah, Dubu saved that shit.
How much creative freedom do you have in those videos? Is that just you get a
Woo!
crazy idea and you go for it, or is it like is it a back and forth process? How does it get to that point? In those kind of bits.
Well, PGL basically just let me on a free leash this time. It was just me, Malstrix, just thinking about stupid shit that we could possibly do to these bastards. And it was so funny, because they're just like, we want unlimited content. Never stop making content. No breaks. And I think they were trying to say that as like a joke, but I actually did that. I think we made something like fucking like 32 videos or something. Shit, like so much.
So how many videos weren't used?
I don't know. There's only one that I regret that wasn't used, and that was with Dendy. But the rest, they showed pretty much all the good ones, I would say. But
wow,
my God, yeah,
I love that
it was
the card
fun.
game. Kundalini, was it?
Kundalini.
That was really good.
Unfortunately, will never be for sale, from what I hear. It would be a logistics nightmare because it has the players' faces and the team logos and stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, they do it in game anyways. What's the difference?
Well, that's in game, right? So I was like, talking to Valve guys. I'm like, hey, if you guys want to sell this at the secret shop, you don't have to pay me anything. I just think it will be super fun. And they're like, well, we can't ever do that. So, so yeah, Kundalini will not be sold. I
Well,
don't believe.
That's a shame, actually.
at
Unless
least you got.
Valve steals it, like the Moonduck net worth bar and talent alerts, and they do it in game.
I saw the net worth yesterday. I was blown away. I didn't realize I was in. I was like
Yeah.
spectating a game and
Well,
it
I
was there.
actually think the net worth looks worse than ours.
I like
It
ours
does.
I think
better.
ours looks better.
Yeah.
Can
I
you
didn't look at it
disable
that
it,
much,
and then
but-
we can just
The-
use ours? Is that possible?
Yeah, that would be great. Then the talent indicators, the one that are in game when you're playing, are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones when you're spectating are fucking disgustingly bad. Like the resolution is like 480 by 3. I don't know. It's a terrible resolution. It's a horrible one. But
Small.
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna steal stuff from Moonduck Studios, the greatest Dota studio there is, at least just steal it nicely, for God's sakes. Make it look good.
Yeah, we can send you the files, guys.
We'll
no
send
problem.
you the files. Hey, we know how this works. Nah, but there's no salt. I mean, that's what happens. If you build something for something that you don't own, then you can't be mad if they take it. You can only be grateful. And that's how people should feel that got the voice lines in the game. You guys agree or disagree?
Oh,
I disagree about that one.
God.
That was
Why?
all right. Yo,
Every
look,
line is from a Valve event. They were paid to be there. They were paid to cast. Valve
step
owns
one.
those lines.
step one. I don't even know if I should say this. 1 second.
Oh, you're making.
Everybody's got to be careful here. All right, so I'll start this off, Purge. So
I'm gonna pass. Continue.
what I'm gonna say is, legally speaking, there's no way Valve is in the wrong in that.
No
Okay.
way.
There's
Really?
no way they're in the wrong. Now, the only question is, morally speaking, is it wrong or is it right? And I'm not gonna say anything. But again, I don't know all the information either. Like, I don't know if they Do we know for sure if the casters are getting anything? Are they even
I
in
saw 2
contact?
tweets from LD and Red Eyes. They said that they were never asked and they are receiving nothing for it.
Do you think a heads up would have been nice? You know what I mean? Like just even letting them know instead
No,
of just being
who
surprised.
cares? They own it.
I'd be happy if they put my voice in it. I wouldn't complain at all. Like so.
Fuck you know.
That's just me.
That's good for your.
That's a slippery slope, my friend.
They can take it all.
It's a
They can
very
take
slippery
everything.
slope you got
So-
there.
Well, but what Shane's talking about is a very real thing that all talent go through. At the beginning of your career, exposure is more important than money. Just having the opportunity to cast on a channel like Moonduck or cast with someone like Purge is great. You get to learn a lot. You know, you get tagged on Purge's Twitter. But then as you become more popular, your time becomes more valuable. And as you get so many offers, money becomes more of a driver, right? Like, I'm only going to fly
Sure.
to 3 events back to back if it's worth my time to do so, because it's stressful and it's time away from home and all this kind of bullshit, right? So that's the same equation that we're talking about here. For some talent, that's amazing. Just being able to say to your friends or to other people as you're trying to get gigs, that's my fucking voice in Dota 2. That's really cool. But for someone like Red Eye, I don't know that he really gives a shit about that exposure. You know, for him, there's a whole different equation.
It's pretty massive.
I
Especially, like,
highly. Yeah,
people
go ahead.
spam that shit in all games, especially
Yeah.
the WoW. Like everyone hears LD's voice like 10 times a day now. Like that,
Yes.
that's crazy.
And you have to remember too, Zyori, like only what 5% of the Dota audience even watches pro games. I mean, these voices have now gone to the 85% that have never cared at all about any pro
No.
Dota. They
Alright,
don't give a
so
fuck.
It's
ask
cool.
this question though: where does it say LD anywhere? How do
It
these
doesn't
people
matter.
that have never watched a competitive game even know who that is?
Yeah,
But
the
you-
exposure
That's a
doesn't
good
get
point.
back to you, in my opinion.
Yes, it does. Because people hear a joke and your first inclination is, oh, wow, that's a really funny voice. I wonder who said that. Then they start searching. Then they find you for the first time. Nobody likes to be out of a joke. Okay? Everyone wants to know where those voice lines came from if they use them or they feel like they're being stupid.
Yeah.
It's great.
I
I definitely agree there's tons of positive benefits, but I just, it feels weird to me because all the people that got voice lines in, they got those lines in because in those very specific moments, they'd said something very unique and creative and iconic and delivered it in a good way. Like those things happened because those people are talented. And because those talented things happened and they said it, it's now being put in the game, which is being used as a selling point for compendium levels that Valve makes a profit on. So it's like their talent is being profited on by Valve.
Well, welcome to everything that we've ever done. Valve wouldn't be able to have TI if they weren't
totally
profiting off of us.
agree, but
That's the point.
maybe there's some legal precedent. Maybe you talk to LD and you're like, hey man, we're gonna throw this line in. Here's $5,000. LD would be like, that's fucking awesome. Thank you for the $5,000. And maybe at some point in our careers, like we'll have managers that like argue those sticking points and they put them in the contracts. But like I don't even know if that shit's detailed in the few contracts that we
Well,
get.
say I hire you, Kevin, to cast an event for me. If I make a highlight clip out of something you say or do, is that not mine?
If you make a highlight clip, that's fine because it's part of
Well,
the broadcast.
what's the
But-
difference?
You're moving it from the broadcast scenario into the game, and it's a reward for people spending money. That's where it gets kind of weird, in my opinion. It's not like they're just promoting something you did during their event, but it's also them.
Yeah.
I mean, I
understand what you're saying.
don't
but
know. I'm not
to
sure if
me,
I'm right.
It's the same thing as like buying a ticket, right? If I'm going to buy an in-game ticket to watch DAC because Purge is casting it, that's the same thing as them profiting off of selling your voice. But I guess at the same time, they paid you to be there, so
They paid you to be there. They didn't pay you to.
So we
use your voice
touched
in
on
game.
it at the beginning of the conversation, but Shane said if they had asked permission first, would it have made a difference? And I think that's part of the issue here is that breakdown in communication. If when you're hired for an event, it's very clearly stated in front of you, hey, just so you know, these are all the terms. We can use your voice however we want, and you sign off on that, that's one thing. But if that's not really clear, and then one day you log into the client and it's like, oh, my voice is in the client. Cool. It just seems a little like, you know, they could have at least asked my permission first, even though
That's
they
pretty
didn't
much what
legally
happens
have
every
to.
time.
Okay. And I guess I can see where you're coming from, Purge. Because, like, let's say that they just took audio clips from things that I've said, and then people can spam, like, I'm a fucking retard. And I, like, you know, it's
Yeah, and that's
that
your
cool?
brand, that's your
That's me?
value,
Yeah.
Right.
and they're using that because you're talented to make money. and it grows the game, and it's tied to you, and it's awesome. It's in game, but throw Slacks $1,000 if you use his voice. Like, have a discussion and throw him the cash. I mean, ultimately, like, the worst thing that'll come out of it is people talking about it on podcasts like this that nobody watches. Like, that's the worst thing for Valve. This is like very low threat, but it would also ensure that it doesn't happen if they just spent a little bit of money and a little bit of time, which is the safer thing to do. Because worst case, it gets to a point where somebody's really upset about it and they genuinely sue the company, which I don't think any of these guys are going to do, and none of us are going to do anytime soon, because as a whole we're happy. But if you keep pushing these boundaries over and over and over again, at some point it will get to that. Somebody will do it.
Also, what would happen if they use something that people hate? Like, I know that Purge, what if they put in "Hello, everybody"? Then you'd have to hear that every time that you played. That'd make you want to kill yourself.
No, you make a good point, though. What if they put in a clip of you, Slacks, that you were actually really embarrassed by, if such a clip exists, and it becomes this like new negative meme about your brand?
The Mongols, the Mongoloids.
There you go.
I just repeated
And that sounds like something Valve wants to put in the game for sure.
Valve's definitely put that in.
But it's an age-old debate in Dota.
I understand,
Yeah, we've been arguing about likeness for a long time. That is the core of the whole noob from UA thing. That is the whole core of the Dota TV debate.
That's why I'm not getting into this, by the way.
No, but who actually
I've learned my lesson.
But who owns the rights to our voices? To what degree do you control your likeness? To what degree can other people monetize your voice as a broadcaster, knowing that you put it in Dota TV or that you are hired by Valve? All of that is just a gray area, and that's why it's a discussion and not a cut and dry, obvious, sort of a deal.
And nobody's spent the money to like consult lawyers to tell you the answer yet, basically.
Yeah.
Are we discussing whether it's legal or morally incorrect?
It's definitely not illegal, but
the legal. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Valve is 100%.
I also don't think
it's
definitely morally incorrect, though. Like, morally, I think it's terrible. Like, you just I think
it's morally wrong.
Yeah, you just say something, at least a heads up. Like, it's just polite, right? That's in my opinion.
Oh, that's all cute, but fuck that. I'd be so pumped if no one ever asked me, even if I went in the game and I'm like, I'm a fucking retard every day. I'd be like, this is great.
I would be too, but I'm just talking about, like, not me. You know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah, of course. So,
and
I know it's not exactly the same, but like the whole using the net worth stuff, like we knew it was going to happen eventually, right? But you could have said, hey, credit to Buka, because they literally, the net worth thing is a copy.
A lot of stuff from Dota was taken from Casting Studios. Wasn't the item pop-up as well from BTS?
BTS
everything.
The Rubik indicator was BTS. The stats recap, or the team fight recap, was BTS.
Team fight recap, that's right.
Like, I think this is what I said in my chest opening video, but I think in any other industry, you would get paid for that. I think in esports, it's kind of just looked upon like, okay, it's whatever, but giving credit to somebody is like such an easy thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, Buka,
maybe they don't do it because it shows bias, or it's a legal thing. If they admit that they stole it and he sues them, then it would make it harder for them. Or I don't know.
It probably opens them up to IP ownership liability.
I mean, I can see that, but I also think that, like, what person would say no to Valve? Like, hey, can we use this as inspiration? Buka would say yes, of course. And they just give him quick credit, and that's it. It's done. It's
what they should do is just hire Buka, and then he can keep making these tools for Valve.
Well, the issue I see is that all of these, like, say for example, Moonduck as a company work with Valve, but they work with the game itself, and then all of the people who work in Moonduck also work with Valve, but in another way. So it's kind of like everything is so kind of like connected, but in ways that it shouldn't really be in a normal business setting. You know what I mean? It's very odd. Like,
because it's all based on Dota. That's what the connection is to everything, and obviously they control the game.
I think this is what I'll end on. I don't think whatever Valve, this whole thing we're talking about, I don't think anything's malicious personally.
No.
I think a lot of it comes to they just don't have a community manager. I know a lot of the company probably doesn't think they need one. Wikram is basically the community manager.
You're actually right.
But you can take the extra step to actually become one, like an official community manager, where the guy communicates with literally every entity, whether it be the player, tournament organizer, casting studios, in this case personalities. Just give them a heads up at the very least. I think that's not much to ask for, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought that having a community manager would be an impossibility just because of how crazy gamers are. You know, I'm pretty sure somebody would murder the community manager eventually. But then again, I mean, Overwatch does a really good job with their community. They have like some guy that comes out every week. People make memes about his face, and he
They're
talks.
filthy casuals, dude.
Well, I know
Well,
that.
he's also isn't he also the head developer? He's not just a community
something like
manager.
that. I mean, that's hype, but at the same time, it loses that like mythos, right? The Valve mythos. Would they be as popular if they had open communication and actually talked? No, it's that. Oh, what's next?
I mean,
It's also a lot
Wikram-
of responsibility for Wikram, right? If they nominate him as community manager, anything he says then is Valve's word. Instead of right now, it's just like, oh, it's Wikram. He knows things. You know what I mean?
But he's a beta tester, right? So he's not technically Valve. That's
I don't
maybe
know.
the
Is
main
he?
issue.
I actually
I
have
think
no
so.
idea.
I don't know the
see,
full
it's
history of
another
Wikram, but
mystery. Oh, who
He was
could it
introduced to
be?
me as this awesome artist guy that knows a lot about Dota, and I never really learned more past that.
Oh,
Anything else about this compendium busting your chops, Slacks? How you liking that new Lifestealer cosmetic? He's got a tail now. That's
dude,
cool.
this
I
battle
like it.
pass is by far the best thing they've ever come out with. Easily.
hell yeah! I like that.
I
I,
like
don't
it.
know. It's a little concerning because I feel like they knew that they weren't going to beat last year's thing
Yeah,
unless they
I
went
agree.
full meme.
Mhm.
So they had to like put in just a bunch of like really gaudy cosmetics and really just fucking odd shit like the question mark
Yep.
deny and the voice thing. So while it's super cool, it puts a ping of terror in me because I remember my Team Fortress days when they finally decided that they were gonna go to Meme Town and the My Little Pony set came out. And I'm like, oh no, it's over. The rot from the inside, it's over. So, while
I mean, a
it's
lot of
super
these
cool-
elements they're putting in are
Han.
from Han.
Yeah.
It's just
of course.
literally the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
look at
just
that
skin
game.
stuff,
That
right?
game's doing great right now.
I mean, I think so. A lot of people say that has nothing to do with the game's success or failure, though. Like that's a common misconception. There's many other reasons that we can talk about, but we won't. Why Han failed.
It's true, actually.
Dota can literally go to that extreme and they will be fine. I promise you. People will be
I don't
upset,
think
maybe
so.
some people.
I
but
can
most people will be fine
summarize
with it.
Han's failure in a very clear sentence. Their director of marketing was hired based on nepotism. The game did not get much traction after launch. It's as simple as that. Their marketing department was non-existent.
Okay. But at the same time,
Well.
we are Dota players because we live at a higher standard than the League of Legends players.
Not
Alright?
for
We
long,
have
friend.
Better
Not for long.
graphics. We don't put our fucking characters in fancy French maid or bunny suits. We
Well, not yet.
Exactly. We consider ourselves better than League because we're more professional. And then so now fucking Ogre Magi's in a goddamn scuba suit. All right, we're coming close to the Drought Ranger
I can't
bunny
wait to
outfit.
see this Kunkka Shark Ultimate, dude. That sounds fucking amazing.
Oh god, I'm just telling you, this is the beginning of the end. It happened to Team Fortress, my old game, and it will happen here.
No, but there is some truth to that, the fact that it's not sustainable if you think about it, right? We've said this every year, and every year Valve continues to make the compendium better in ways that increases the prize pool. And there's a certain point where you just can't do it anymore because, like, how much can you act? Like, I can't even imagine how much time they put into this battle pass. I guarantee it was like at least 6 months back, if not more. Somebody's been working on this at least.
I mean,
to some
they're gonna
degree.
make so much money from it. It doesn't matter. Like that's the hardest thing about it. It's like if they make themselves more money by making it better, it also makes the tournament scene more difficult because then the teams only fucking care about TI and none of the other tournaments matter. Hurts third parties. It's like to help themselves, they also have to hurt the scene, but they also
So
want the scene
here's
to
the
succeed.
age-old question, though. I'm interested to hear everybody's opinion. Do you think it's that big of a deal if they don't hit the same as last year?
I don't. I
Yes.
think people need to brace
Yeah.
for it that it doesn't matter.
At this
People
point,
will,
I don't
people
think it
will
matters.
be like, "Oh, Dota's dying." People will feel.
Okay,
bad.
no.
Yeah,
I
in my
okay.
opinion.
There's going to be an initial reaction like
But
that.
yeah,
but does it actually matter?
No,
I don't think so.
game's dying. We only raised $14 million this year,
what
guys.
was-
Like, I don't know.
What was the name of that poker tournament? Poker was huge, like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
World
Do you remember?
Series
Like,
of Poker?
yeah, everyone watched poker, and then it just dropped like half the prize pool, and then it literally died. It used to be on all like the main TV channels in Ireland, and then it just completely went.
Well, I think that was more. How do I explain that? That felt more like just a phase almost. It wasn't about the
Okay.
money necessarily. It was more Oh, we can watch poker on
Well,
TV.
I think of it more,
Ooh.
isn't there a minimum threshold of raising money with TI where it doesn't really matter if it was 20 million the year before and now we go to 18 million? As long as it's a 10 or 15 million dollar plus tournament, what fucking difference does it make in reality?
No. Dota players are winners. We're in this game because we're winners. If we ever lose the compendium, if it's ever less, then people think less of it, even subconsciously. Nobody wants to be part of a dying.
All right, you can't have it both ways. So if you really care about cosmetics not going to the Han route or League of Legends, then you shouldn't care if the prize pool hits last year.
Hey, you know,
Because
that's
that's the only way they're gonna get to that
I don't
point.
care that much. I'm just saying it's the beginning of the cancer. I'm not saying we're gonna die of the cancer yet. We'll live. We'll stagger on for a few years.
All right, I like that analogy.
All right.
That's good.
But at the same time, that's the beginning of the end. But I don't know. Purge, you haven't said anything. What do you think, buddy?
Zoning out.
All right. Jeez.
He's trying not to think about the cancer.
But at
Do you
at any
someone
rate,
want to fill me in for what you guys have been talking about the last 5 minutes?
nah, don't worry about it.
Nah,
You're
no
fine.
kidding.
Cosmetics,
you just,
bro.
You just keep that face. It's that
I don't
face
know.
that we have you here for. That
I don't think
beautiful...
the cosmetics are. I'm not that worried about it. I guess. I'm more thinking about how it affects the ecosystem of the pro scene and things like that. And I'm not really sure. I'm still processing information basically.
Besides, if you guys gave a shit about Dota, you wouldn't buy the compendium because buying the compendium fucks the workshop artists. Okay, you're all flipping off a Nuxie right now.
I know that made me feel bad too, honestly.
I guess everybody except a Nuxie. You're flipping off everyone except a Nuxie right now.
Well, okay,
It's
so
always you.
why do you say that? Not that I disagree, but why do you say that?
Oh, I'm not actually saying that. That's just what the workshop artists say. With that big thread, you remember that bad boy?
No, oh, believe me, I remember them clearly.
So-
So one every few months.
I might have an unpopular opinion here. Can I dare to go there?
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Or do we not want to go down a rabbit
Come
hole
on.
with
Contrarian,
workshops?
friend.
No,
by all
it's
means.
What the Duck.
Okay,
Our
all right.
bi-yearly What the Duck. That's
So-
your chance.
No, so the workshop before majors, right? Before the plethora of compendiums, the good old days, if you will, right?
Yeah.
A lot of workshop artists made a lot of money, right? And some workshop artists in the mid-tier had opportunities to get their artwork out there, and it helped them move into a new part of their career, right? Let's put it that way. Valve never promised that was going to be a forever sustainable revenue stream for such people. It's like Uber. It's a contract arrangement. You take each one, you say, great, we did it. This is not a guarantee of future work. And I think part of the reason Valve is moving in this direction is because they think of it as, well, look at all this money we made for independent workshop artists. We're not doing it anymore, but that's a past success story. And to some degree, like, do you become entitled expecting that platform to always be there?
Yeah, I mean, that is the
Yeah.
number one problem with that, is saying it's a very hard to win people to your side when your argument is, I used to make a lot of money and now I don't. Oh. Oh, no.
But
yeah.
the things that they choose to pay for, it's kind of the same issue as the voice lines in game thing. Like, for example, I think the best argument is that if you are part of a chest, if you have a set in a chest, you get a percentage of that chest's revenue based on how many sets of that you have within the chest, and everybody that is in that chest gets it split equally. The percentages have gone down, if I'm not mistaken. And any chest that I unlock by leveling up in game naturally of that set, I don't get paid for. Basically, if I was a
Isn't
workshop artist,
the
it's only if
individual
people.
items counted as well?
Right. I have
It's
to
only-
buy.
If I have to like go and be like, I'm gonna pay $250 per chest. So
That's
for
right.
me, so if I buy like a level 75 compendium, for example, and spend $35 or whatever it costs me, all of the chests that I got with it base, none of those get paid out for whatever chests I got. Although they're all immortals, right? So that would be like they're all Valve sets, I assume. But yeah.
Well,
So
for you
here's
guys,
a
for you guys,
concept.
no, for you guys. First of all, when you buy the compendium, do you buy it for the items? Like I think most people do, right?
course.
Yeah.
90%.
Mix of
Nobody
both.
gives a shit about the prize pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
they
like
did
that's the
last
main
couple years.
drawing point of the entire compendium is your worth.
Getting
Right.
shit, basically.
I think the main value that Valve got out of workshop artists is that they didn't have to do it themselves. They keep 75%, which is a ginormous number.
Right.
75% of the profits. I mean, think of Valve as a company, right? How many employees do they have? We've discussed this on
Like
the
less
Dota
than
team.
400 or something. Well, there's
Okay, in Dota,
on Dota
there's
team, who
like
knows?
20 people maybe.
Sure.
This is for an enormous game. Imagine having the community just still doing this, making all the sets for you. You keep 75% of the profits, and everybody else on the team can do other stuff. They're free to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Expand the game, do whatever. That's the main benefit of the early stages of the
But
workshop.
still, compare it to other developers. How many other developers even have opportunities for the community to make things that can get in the game? Blizzard doesn't do that shit.
Yes, but Sunsfan's point is there. Like Valve can hire less employees as a result, and they still get 3/4 of the money.
Oh, it's a great deal for them, no doubt.
The main thing that changed, right, was the majors. That's what changed everything because they had
The
to work
workshop
on
was
these.
dead before the majors.
Was it?
Yeah.
But that's what hammered it
Like
home.
6
I mean,
months.
that's what really.
That's funny though, because when the majors were announced, all the workshop artists were like, "Holy crap, this is so cool! This is really exciting! This is gonna turn things around." And it got just way worse.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
So what killed it, in your opinion? Like, was it just Valve not accepting the sets?
Valve not accepting any particle effects anymore, not accepting sets that are different, past like a certain scheme or whatever, and now they're just kind of doing it all themselves for.
I guess they were
majors,
planning for the major, right? That's
Yeah.
what
I suppose, yeah.
Sort of what it feels like. But yeah,
I mean, a lot of sets not broken up, like our
Yeah.
Tiny set, which I'm still hoping gets in someday. Like they still just haven't broken up Tiny apparently to be allowed cosmetics somehow, even though we've done it already for
Yeah.
them.
The
But-
Bald Invoker dream is still alive as well.
Yes, the bald
Yes.
invoker.
It
mean,
sounds
honestly-
like,
one day.
it sounds like
ahead.
though the argument is more that the terms have just been getting progressively shittier over time, and that's more of the problem. Not that artists have this expectation that they'd always have a plethora of works, and that's a fair criticism for sure. But
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
think-
it's not even worth the money anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
if you
No,
the
it's
amount of hours
definitely
that you
not.
spend making a set and the
Yeah.
payout that you get is not value. Like before, they were making a shitload of money by all means, but now I believe it's not worth their time. Is
It
kind of
was-
what it's like.
It was a pretty massive debate, right? Because at the beginning, people were making money, they're making a livelihood, and then I remember, I think it was the last major, almost every single one of the sets was submitted like a year and 7 months ago. So you have the system where everyone thinks that they're going to do well, and they stockpile this huge amount of submitted items, and then now you just have this entire bank, and then no one gets anything from it. So
here's the
I'm
thing.
very sympathetic for the
Like,
workshop.
Okay, I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong to this, but we're gonna come down to the exact same conversation that we did with what we talked about earlier. Lack of communication again. You have to think of this from a workshop artist perspective. It's not like this suddenly happened overnight. Valve said, "Hey, we're not doing this anymore." Literally no communication.
right.
Literally zero. And it's just a gradual thing where these people they quit their jobs, and I'm not saying Valve is like
Responsible.
Valve isn't responsible for them having jobs, right? But you have to know that these people have quit their jobs. They're doing this
Right.
for your game. And over this extended period of time, perhaps a conversation, maybe you can have one.
It's sort of
And then
just a level of
fixes a
decency
lot of things.
and kind of like, hey, we realize you guys have sacrificed to help create this awesome, marketplace or platform or workshop that we have. Just FYI, we're going in another direction. Prepare. I see
but,
where you're saying.
But
right?
if they
That's-
tell them that, then they can prepare the community's reaction, or they can think about it's basically like revealing your strategies. Be like, by the
Yeah.
way, we're going to fuck you over pretty soon. Hope you, if you want to organize and
Prepare
fight
yourself.
back, you'll have that.
I mean,
opportunity
I don't
now.
even think it's them fucking anyone over, though, right? It's just a change of policy that these
Yeah.
people aren't going to make as much money as before. They can still make money, but they're working in the dark, right? They don't know if their set's going to get in. They have sets from 2 years ago that there's no feedback on, which again,
Yeah.
that's just lack of employees. It's just
I-
the Valve model.
I just don't think it's Valve. Like Valve aren't in the wrong at all, in my opinion. I think
Nope.
they're just they're making decisions based on what they think is right and right for their company, and
Yeah.
it's
Right.
it's gonna fuck over some people. It
People
is what
like
it
to
is.
think about Valve as a human being, right? They like to think that there's a conscience and they have to do what's right, what's wrong. Well, surprise, Valve is Walmart. I mean, it is a corporation.
Yeah.
And their number one goal is to make a profit no matter what. And that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it sucks. Sometimes they've been really kind, but at the same time,
Okay, if
Profit
they
is
were
everything.
Walmart, okay, so let's take this Walmart example, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any like super ridiculous analogies, but if there are issues within the community that can easily, let's say 70% of it can be fixed just by having a conversation. Do you think Walmart does that? I think that's a definite yes. Definite yes, not even a question.
Well,
And I think that can
Maybe.
easily be done. I don't see what the issue is. Like I
I
don't think
think-
anybody's asking them necessarily to change the way they do things because obviously it's worked for them. But
I
I think
think
the
the-
conversation is easy to have.
Isn't the parallel more about like workforce? You know, Walmart's notorious for keeping people on part-time so they don't pay health insurance and that kind of stuff. That's the value of contractors, right? Valve is able to farm this work out to contractors, not have to hire them as employees, and that way they're not obligated to disclose this kind of information. They're not obligated to pay them a salary, and they can just pay them for work delivered based on however Valve wants to buy that work, you know? So it's an efficiency model. Like you talked about the 75-25. It's amazing for Valve. They're the ones that set up the system. You know, it's just good business.
Well,
But
the way I see it is they're a big company, and all these people do these things for them for free, right? They do basically for free. They get
Yep.
paid, but
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with them. The second they open up communication with them, there's a link between the two people, and then I'm sure there's some legal shit there if people are making money off whatever. So they keep a disconnect, probably for legal reasons, and just to keep themselves safe as a company. That's the way I see it.
If you're gonna tell a guy he's gonna get a set in the game, then he'll make you a set. But if you say, hey, if you make a really good set for the game, maybe you'll get a set in, then he'll make you 4 sets. I mean,
And if you tell
That's how
them
it
that they're gonna change the cuts in the 3 months for the next major, everybody will stop fucking making sets right away. And then Valve's gonna be like, oh, we need some sets. What are we gonna? Guess we have to make sets now.
we should have never communicated with
This-
them.
This way they can be like, we need you to make a set.
mean-
We'll pay you $75, and they get there and like, sorry, I've only got 50. You'll just have to take it for 50.
Exactly.
There's obviously negatives to communicating, but
Yeah.
I think if you look at it from every perspective, like the workshop artist, just as this example, I don't think it's reasonable to just be in the dark for that long. Because again,
No,
this
of course
isn't
not.
like an overnight thing, right? This is
Yeah.
literally like a 2-year slow transition.
And they're good
that-
people too. They're people that have like the passion of the game, the thing that moves it along. Like all the money that supports everything is from these people that are getting fucked. And it just sucks. But love to support the workshop artists, but I mean, what do you do? What do you do in that situation?
yeah.
You don't
So
do
if-
anything.
You're getting your Omninet in the game, aren't you? That's what you're saying.
I
Uh,
wish.
I mean, if Valve just doesn't want to use third-party contributors anymore, then this method makes sense in my opinion completely. Like if they're trying to just phase it out as a whole, maybe that's the move.
Yeah.
Oh, they're definitely
I
doing
don't-
that. That's why chests don't exist anymore unless it's a Valve event.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
Remember
they can.
when we
I
used
don't-
to get a chest per tournament?
Hey, Dota
Yeah,
Pick
but I
got a
don't think they
chest
can
in
do
not that
that,
long
though.
ago.
Well,
They-
that was
they don't
because
have
it
the-
was a death trap, and they were
They
trying
don't
to
have
fund
the
it.
employees to actually make this many sets, though. That's the thing. They need people to make it for them.
I mean,
That's the point.
they produced all the stuff. Who makes the sets for like battle passes for like majors and stuff?
Them.
But-
Well,
No, don't they get them from the workshop?
wait. Some of them are from the workshop, right?
Yeah, I think most of them.
Okay,
are.
yeah. The immortals are not, but the ones that are like the quests are community made.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about it just reminds me of the Uber thing. You know, when someone signs up for Uber without really doing the math, does it for a couple weeks or a few months, and then complains about how little money they make. It's like, well, you knew what it was kind of going in. If it's shitty, then do something else. Uber is not obligated to pay you a real salary or anything, you know. And obviously, this is not a 1-to-1, and there's a lot of other variables. And I would agree with you, Shane. And I think it's unreasonable, but you know, the free market type mindset would argue then it's time to
Or
freelance
you're saying they know
somewhere
what
else.
they're getting into, but workshop artists don't. That's the point, right?
Well, then
the
I would
mystery.
say it's
Well,
it's a
they
sh-
didn't.
They didn't. They did for a while, but
Now they know.
yeah, now the curtain's been lifted. It feels.
Also, you could argue that the artists are like the face of like Dota. Like you see
They
the
are.
character in the game.
That's
so
a
it's
fair
like,
point. That's
Like
actually,
it actually it's what you play. It's a part of Uber itself, if you will. It's like
no. That's a good point, Shane. I didn't think about that part. That's yeah.
Well, I think we can all agree that we all feel terrible for the workshop artists. We wish that it would change, but then also we can see why it wouldn't from a
Right.
business standpoint. So it's just a shit situation. But at the same time, I mean, Valve has so much. They could just do it out of the kindness of their own hearts. But,
And to solve any potential PR issues. That's why I think
Exactly.
they should just pay the casters like $2K a line or something.
That's true.
You'd be like, wow, I just got $2,000 out of nowhere. Cool.
Yeah, that's true. It can become a, you know, this is a pretty cheap way to avoid a potential, you know, PR headache. That's a good thought as well.
yeah.
But it would be giving up $2,000 that they wouldn't have to. But
what about like a
each
welfare
time.
for like shitty Dota casters? You know, I get like €500 a month.
they already have that,
From
dude. It's
Valve.
called a qualifier hub.
See you next time, guys.
See you next time, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a problem with that too, because then you're saying that, it's instead of this, we all paid for this already, then you're saying that you had to pay for it again. Yeah, fuck all this business shit. Anyway, Compendium overall though,
I like it.
I do.
Godly.
I'm having
Godly.
fun.
This is the part where we circle jerk how much we want to play Dota right now and how great Valve is.
What do you guys think about the season MMR? Do you guys prefer to play that over the regular pool? Do you think it makes any difference?
You guys go first, and I'll tell you why.
I like unranked.
Okay.
No
well,
pressure.
Cool.
In my opinion, it's for the people that are like, oh my god, my MMR is 2k lower, I'm getting dragged down by my teammates, and then it gives them the option to try. And then they buy the compendium purely for this reason. They try and they fail, and then they
without
forget
smurfing.
But
yeah, it's good.
Isn't it kind of an illusion? Like someone was telling me that the way the season MMR calibrates, it's just based on your last 20 games anyway. So even if you win all 10 of your calibration games, you only jump up maybe a couple hundred MMR. It's not like a truly fresh pool where you could calibrate it 4.5 or something. I haven't I actually don't know, but I was reading
And it
that.
still probably has a cap as well. So it's like any player that's above like 4,500 is basically going to have a smurf. So it's like then the games are going to be less accurate when you actually play them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely negatives.
I played the last one. I played like 7 or so games, and it was just all like really high MMR players just wrecking people.
I heard that there's a cap too, isn't there? Isn't there like a max you can get?
I'm sure there is, yeah. Because
There's,
otherwise
like,
you could just
super
raise your
low.
MMR.
Yeah, I think the cap is something like 3.5 or 4.5 or something.
That's what it is now for new Smurfs. But I saw a picture, somebody on Twitter that showed their calibration. Maybe it was like Honey or Trixie or something. He was at 4.5, so I assume that the international one is higher maybe than the actual.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'm not
Has
sure.
that phone number thing started yet?
Yeah,
Yep.
it came
Yeah.
for a while.
Yep.
But
like
it went
it,
into
but-
action this week, I think. Last
Okay.
week.
Yeah. I
International ranked is really good though, I think, and it also lets people, if you haven't played ranked for like 9 months and you've gotten worse as a player, you can actually D-rank without having to like lose a shitload of games to get there.
That's
so
a
it
good
basically
one,
helps
actually,
people that don't play as often, or that maybe the calibrated ranked and they haven't touched it in 3 years and they want to rank up without playing 300 games.
Yeah.
Like
It
a lot of
helps you
people
adjust.
when they first start playing Dota, they just say, "Oh, ranked matchmaking." They play their 1k MMR, and then they play for 3 or 4 years, and they're actually way better.
On
but
unranked, yeah.
But the amount of time it'll take to get to 3k or 4k is just too large, right?
With that said, winning is fun. I don't know why they wouldn't want to take that, but
Yep.
yeah.
That's what happened to me. I calibrated at something like 1.9.
Yeah.
When Ranked came out, Legion Commander came out at the same time, and I was like, I'll just play Ranked with this new Legion hero and learn it. Very bad idea, guys.
Did you start
It
in the
took
jungle?
me years to climb.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't have Iron Talon back then either.
No.
Correct.
You couldn't jungle.
7,000 hours of Dota to make it.
Yeah, so far I don't know. I've played 8 or 9 of the calibration games for the season MMR, and all of my games have actually been pretty good. And it's probably just a small sample, but I've had very few. And by good, I mean just where my team doesn't rage out or just start yelling at each other before the first 2 minutes, where they at least lane and everyone makes a somewhat normal effort. Whatever. That's all I ask for in Dota games. That it's not a fucking 4v5 at minute 1.
Is it actually different? Are you in a different game?
Yeah,
like,
it's
with
only you
all
have to buy the
international-
compendium, so it's like
Are
ranked
you
for
sure?
only compendium holders. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Because
the
it wasn't the last one. You go into a game of like just normal MMR people. Like it was the exact same.
no.
No,
I,
Except
no.
a different
I think
MMR.
it's only
It's
compendium
the
holders.
international. Only the
Okay,
compendium
okay.
people. Only
the rich people.
rich.
Yeah.
Let the rich play alone.
Pause, Butler, pause, please.
My favorite thing about that is that, but when they did it for the first time, everyone assumed that it would be like a non-toxic oasis because it's like, oh, all those
The paywall.
pores won't be in there, and then it's like worse. You get all these, oh,
Yeah.
you know what's my favorite thing
International-
about it? It's I wish sometimes that there was like a ranked for every role that you play. Because for when I play solo ranked, I exclusively play support if I can. But if people pick supports before me, then I play a different role. But I would like to know like what my MMR is for my carry, for my mid, for my offlane, for my support. And I think international ranked is a good way to do that as well.
I 100% agree. If I'm in
Very
like
cool.
the highest MMR in a game and they ask me to play carry, I'm like, Jesus Christ, no. Like mid or offlane or support. Like, but when I play carry, it's a disaster. So like knowing that I'm like a 2k carry or like a whatever, like mid player
yeah.
would be really cool.
yeah. We talked about this. Well, I forget who we were talking about. Was it with you, Perch, at Kiev? We
Possibly.
were talking about if we integrated that into Dota. If when you search for a game, you searched as a carry, a support, and if it's something that should be like punishable, if you went away from that.
Is
Because
this in
that's
League
what-
of Legends?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they do in League. They punish you if you go for a support and then you start doing something else with the
How do they
wrong
punish
hero.
you?
Like, they
No,
ban
like,
you, and
legit
then you
shit.
write them letters and say, hey, I was just playing this hero like this, and they're like, you shut the fuck up!
Well,
There's
that's
a-
the
there's a
difference though.
Reddit
Is
thread.
League you can't.
I'll
I
give
could
you an
be wrong,
example
but
though,
League
right?
you
I-
can't play those heroes, right? As carries.
Not always true. There's a Reddit thread about this guy who played some like hero in a
yeah.
role that he wasn't supposed to. That wasn't
playing,
in the meta.
He was playing a jungle hero in an aggro role that wasn't meant to be played in that position, and he
It
was wrecking people
It was
basically.
like he was a roaming hero, pretty much,
Yeah,
is what it sounded
exactly.
like. And he had
That-
like stats. He put work into it. He had examples of like that it was valid, and he got banned or something, or 10 banned. or
That is
something.
my favorite story
Wow.
ever. So they ban him, and he writes a letter, and he's like, hey, guys, I don't know why I should be banned. I'm just innovating and changing the hero a little bit, but that's within the confines of the game. And you'd expect Riot to come to his defense, but no, Riot's like, stay banned, you piece of shit.
Legion Commander is a jungle hero. You're banned.
Stay away from our game, retard.
So
That's
why it
pretty
shouldn't be
fucked
in.
up.
I don't
pretty
think
fucked
you should be able to queue for roles either, because everything changes. Like maybe I really like playing off lane, but I only like playing Clock and Legion Commander, and the enemies pick heroes that hard counter those two heroes. Now I'm like, well, those are my only good offlane heroes. Time to try something else, you know?
Right.
Like in Dota, people aren't as selective on the heroes they play and the roles they play, and I love that Dota is like that, because you can play any fucking hero for free.
Right.
Mhm.
So I don't think that distinction should exist. I just like the idea of doing a ranked under each role kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But
But
it's
it's
hard to
stressful,
enforce.
you know? In my position, my patented the fucker role, that does not fall within support, ganker, carry, or anything else. It is simply a game-winning role. So if I go as support and I don't buy any wards, people
Oh
will be
my god!
upset.
I saw
Oh,
that. So that thread with Slacks. What was it? Thank you, Slacks and OD Pixel and Shiver for playing this game. I look at the picture. It's fucking Slacks with brown boots and fucking refresher on
We
silencer.
would've
What
won!
the
We would've
fuck
won!
kind of build
The
is that?
Centaur wasn't bad. I swear to God, we
That
won
is such
every
a shit
team
build.
Fight. We won every team fight. I am not a support. I am my own class, the fucker, who wins his games.
He's
all
like
right?
he's looking for the golden snitch, man. He's the seeker.
Oh fuck! I still remember the game at the hub where you played Earthshaker. I have nightmares about that shit. Like fuck.
But I
What did he
win.
go on Earthshaker?
Straight Soul Ring, no wards, no nothing. Oh my god.
That doesn't
And
sound
we
as bad
won.
as usual.
And we
No,
won.
that's
No, we
that's-
lost horribly.
Did we though?
Yeah, we lost every game at the hub.
Did we though, Shane?
Oh Jesus! All right,
Remember
gang.
the Techies game?
Oh.
It's about time for story time if we have any. And
Whoa, this is a short episode. What
well,
the
you
heck?
showed up half an hour into it, so we've been going for 75 minutes. I mean, what do you?
Cutting it a little close, guys, don't you think?
Slacks, you can
Oh,
make up
God.
for it with a knee slapper
All right.
of a story time.
All right, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you the one story that the one video that PGL didn't air that they should have.
Oh God.
Um,
Okay.
This was at the last day that we
Wait,
could
was
record.
it the Boys of Kiev Major video?
Yes, it was. We just showed a bunch of very nerdy-looking gentlemen. By the way, the fucking girls of Kiev. Never in my life. There was one video I didn't make for PGL. One. The girls of Kiev. And did I get descended on all because of fucking Theban with his one tweet. Slacks made that video. God, the DMs I got.
I didn't even know that happened. That's awesome.
Yes. So the girls of Kiev
He
comes
wasn't
out
even
and
Kiev. How would he say that?
Well, yeah, the girls of Kiev come out, and then somebody super important, I forget, tweets like, "Did they actually just do a babe roll?"
Phil.
And then
That's Phil.
Phil, and then Theban replies, "It was Slacks' idea." It obviously is a joke, but people on the internet are dumbasses. So my fucking Twitter DMs, my Reddit inbox, my everything is just social justice fucking shit, and I'm like sitting in my room watching Samurai Jack. My phone starts blowing up. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's just you, sexist piece of shit. Like, that wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it fits though. You know.
What happened to
What do
Shane?
you mean it fits?
No idea.
He turned off his camera and left.
And I
He
heard
was so
Eric
disgusted with
crashing.
this
Did he
conversation.
get like robbed or something?
I hope not.
Oh.
I don't know what his address is, so if he is, I don't know how we can help.
I'm not 100%, but I thought I heard breaking glass. Sorry to interrupt you, Slacks, but Shane might be in trouble.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have my eyes closed and everything. Does
What was
anyone
the-
know Shane?
Let me message him.
Call Shane. Is he robbed?
Is he wrong?
Lay down. Lay down.
Oh,
to
it sounds
his
like
dog?
a cat.
I don't think he realizes that his open mic was still on.
Shane,
I-
are you okay,
Hey,
buddy?
Shane.
Oh, my dog was just getting sick. I just had to clean her up.
Oh no.
Oh,
he
my.
had he's
We
grand.
heard the
He just
struggle.
He had some weird fucking thing.
Did you have to wrestle the dog to the ground?
No,
Put it in the
just-
Hey,
sleeper
we're gonna
holes.
need
I-
your address for future reference.
Oh, sh-
While
Just
the
in
dog's
case.
vomiting, did you pin it to the ground to make sure
No.
it was okay?
No, my dog's actually bigger than me, so
Oh.
you could probably kick the shit out of me realistically.
Okay.
All right. Social justice.
Crisis,
Slacks.
crisis averted.
No,
So
no.
Slacks,
That
run it
wasn't-
back.
That wasn't even the story. But anyway, PGL, I think they learned from their mistake, and they were just actually they're memers. PGL are memers. What happened was someone made a Reddit thread complaining that they were only showing women at the event, which they weren't. Because in case you idiots don't know, the camera men at the event are 2 chicks. PGL has 2 camera chicks. They're the only ones that do the camera shots. So this guy put a thread on Reddit that's like, oh, you guys are only showing women. And PGL wasn't. And they were like, no, we're not only showing women. So this is not confirmed. But knowing those fucking memers from PGL, they're probably like, guys, we should make a video entirely of women to fucking piss off this guy on Reddit. Which is hysterical. However, you forgot that only 100 people saw that Reddit thread, and there are 300,000 people watching the tournament. So maybe.
All right, here's the thing though.
If
If that was somewhere else other than the end, do you think it would have been as big of a deal?
No, it would have been fucking weird, but yeah, probably not at the end. But at the same time, they're memers. I mean, they had to strike while the meme iron was hot. So, I mean, this is just a theory anyway.
So stupid. The meme iron. What the?
That's
fuck?
pretty
You gotta
funny, to be
strike the meme iron, dude. All right, anyway.
If memes
so
get too cold, dude, they get real bad. That's what
They get
happens.
stale memes, dude. You gotta pick out your pickaxe and go hunt those fossilized maymays. It's not good. All right, anyway. So, story. The only video that PGL didn't air. This was the Dendy video, and I was very proud of it. Dendy just so happened to be on site at Kiev the second to last day.
Happened to be he lives there, dude.
I know, but he was just so happened to be doing signings and stuff. So I come up with this idea. Valve loves to torture Dendy. Well, not torture, but he always says yes. So basically, you go up and do anything. He'll always say yes because he's a nice guy, and I feel like that's fucked up. So of course I was like, hey, he'll say yes to me. So I went up to him and I used him just like everybody else. Here was the skit. Went up to Dendy. And I had the conversation with him. I'm like, hey man, you're here. It's your hometown. Yada yada yada. How is it like to have a good event here? And he's like, oh, I love it. It's the hometown stuff. And I'm like, do you ever get swarmed by people when you go to get autographs? And he's like, oh, all the time. And I was like, all right. Well, let's see what people have to say about Dendy when they don't know that it's you. And then he looks at the camera and he's like, uh-huh. So then I go find a bunch of Na'Vi fans in the crowd. And I go find this lanky kid. And I put a Pudge mask on him and I give him a Na'Vi sweater. And it's not Dendy. And the kids I was like, if Dendy was here right now, what would you say to him? And they're like, oh, you're my hero. I love you so much. All the things that you do. Now, Reddit, the people watching, they would also not know that this kid in the mask was not Dendy, because I had Dendy in the original. So they tell all this shit, and then he pulls off his mask, and it's just some fucking random kid. And he's like, hello! And that was the skit. Oh, and it would have been so god
Why didn't they air it?
Oh, I don't know why they didn't air it. I guess it was kind of cruel because I really let these kids talk. Like they were talking for like 5 minutes about how much they love Dendy, what he is, what a great guy is, and the guy in the Pudge mask and the Na'Vi shirt's like doing all the mannerisms, right? He's like, oh, and then he takes off the mask and it's just some fucking kid. God, that video was hype.
That sounds like very little work for Dendy.
What were the
It
reactions
was.
like? I mean, were the kids just mortified? Did they pretend that it was
were
Dendy?
So disappointed. Now that I think about it, it was hilarious. Their faces, because Dendy was there doing an autograph session. Everybody knew he was in the building, and they thought this was the chance. And Oh, in fact,
Did they
we
get
did
to
it...
meet the Dendy in the end, or like...
No. Even in
No.
fact, I did it when Dendy's autograph session was taking place. So instead of getting in line to meet him, they got fucked by me, and that's what made it so funny. Oh God, it was good. I can see why they didn't air it. That's wild.
pretty evil.
That's pretty fucked up, but God, it was funny at the time. I laughed so hard.
That's cruel, man. That's just
Yeah.
Is it? That's so funny.
That's
so
great.
much more funny than cruel. It's only like it's cruel to like 4 people, and it's not even that bad. It's just like
true.
it's like
I'll admit-
it's the bait and switch that has been happening for like 3 events. If there's ever anybody at a TI with a mask, they're probably
It's
saving it for
Dendy,
TI.
right?
That's what's fucking happening. You ruined it, dude. That was gonna happen at TI again.
No.
That was their all-star
No,
match
no.
idea. Now they have to go back to the drawing
Only
board.
it's the same thing as the girls in Kiev. Only 2,000 people know about it compared to the million that will be watching. Still be dank if I get hired for that event and do it again. But now that I think about it, you know when someone tells like a fucked up joke and you're the only one laughing and it's like super awkward? I think that's what it was. Because like the crowd was silent and I was like on my knees crying, laughing so hard. And this kid's like, oh!
Everyone else that was actually in the shot.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I think everyone else in the shot was pretty downtrodden.
All these kids crying and Slacks laughing.
You want to see utter disappointment? This video is what it is.
Yeah. We had some
Oh
other
my.
content too. I did a game with SVG and they just kept drawing dicks on everything. That was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
SVG.
I
Or
wonder why they didn't put
SGE,
that one on.
whatever. Anyway, it was a great event. I really had a good time. PGO,
That's good.
fucking awesome, boys.
All right.
Anyway, any other stories?
Well, yeah. Anyone else?
Tell me a story from the other side of the pond, Purge.
I could tell you guys about the guy that kept joining the lobby. I've told this on stream, I think, already for myself, but I think it was like maybe day 2 main event. This guy kept joining the game lobbies repeatedly. Like he'd join the game, we'd have to remake, he'd join again. The first time he joined, he said hi to me. Then the next time it was like Demon, and like the next time he's like, don't throw solo, haha. But like we're trying to fucking lock down who's leaking the password. Because like if somebody gets into a lobby like that and the game starts, they're just gonna all chat or play music. It's happened before, you know? And if they start writing racist shit and all chat, and every stream has that in game, that's a huge problem, right? So if somebody's in there that shouldn't be, you gotta remake the game. And he just kept joining. So one of the reasons that on one of the days, I think it was day 2 maybe, day 2 and day 3, that the games got delayed so much is because whenever he would get in there, we'd have to remake the lobbies, and then they'd have to like ninja pass passwords, like literally walk a guy, he'd like think of a password, like write it down, tell it to the observers, text message it to PGL, who he knows like wasn't gonna leak it, right? And then he has to like walk it over to the Chinese casters and the Russian casters and the English casters, go to all the players in both booths, tell them like literally 10-15 times per remake. And finally, like the next day, he kept coming into the lobbies again. Everybody's freaking out. Like I thought there was somebody in the stadium with like binoculars, like looking at our cell phones. Like, oh, I see the password in the group chat. There it is. You know. But eventually, he finally like apologized and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I won't join again." Like, because he kept saying, "Don't remake" every time that we would remake. And I was like, "Dude, if you're really sorry, like tell us how you're doing it and stop joining the games." And he's like, "How will I do that?" I had to ask him to email me, and he actually emailed me later that night, and he stopped joining games.
So how do you do
figure
it?
Yeah.
out?
What was the?
Oh,
What's the
don't
secret?
tell. They probably didn't
I
fix
won't
it yet.
say. But it was really simple. He wasn't. He was just in the chat channel basically. That's it.
Oh.
He wasn't actually in the game lobby. So if the game started, he maybe wouldn't have been able to write. But it definitely. But you don't know, right? You see the name.
spy.
He's writing in your lobby. You're like, this guy's in our game. That shit was it's pretty obnoxious. But hopefully it gets fixed. Probably
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. That's stuff.
I forwarded it to the right people.
Nice. Nice.
Nice. Way to
reminds-
save Dota.
That reminds
Thank
me
you,
of
Purge.
the first summit. That guy that showed up on day 0 asking if Dendy was there, and we said no, and he said, "Could you just give Dendy this note, please?" And we said, "Okay, buddy." So he would
If I
leave.
show up, you mean physically, right?
Physically
Like, he
knocked
was
on the door.
Knocked on the door. Yeah.
And delivered us a note for Dendy. And we said yes, so he would go away. We looked at the note, and it was literally just his Steam ID, and it said, "Please add me." It was one of the saddest moments of my life.
Oh my
Because you realize it
God.
wasn't even a message. It was just a, "Please, Dendy, I need one friend in my life." Oh,
I actually have
fuck's
a
sake.
story like that. We were at the TI4 EU hub. We were, Cyborg Matt and myself were sitting outside on a bench, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty dark, and the house was like right beside a forest. And like off in the distance, I hear like the rude sandstorm, like really, really low. It's like, and I look down the hill, right, into this dark forest, and I see 3 guys with hockey masks walking up the hill, playing the Rude Sandstorm on the
What?
phone, going like this. They just walk about 10 meters away from us and then just run away. But before they ran away, I was shitting myself. Like, absolutely shitting myself.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Pretty-
that was weird.
Did you ever get closure on that? They just fucked off
No,
and never
they,
came back?
They came back the next day not wearing hockey masks and like just wanted to meet people basically. But I don't know. That was
Oh.
real fucking weird.
Oh lord! Oh my lord!
Yeah, pro tip, guys, if you want to be in any way involved in the pro scene, don't do weird shit like that in the first place, because
I
it's
thought it
gonna
was great.
instantly you're like, I don't fully trust this person because they already did
Well,
something
if you
weird.
wear a
Hey,
mask,
hey.
nobody will ever know, right? So
Yeah,
those guys
Exactly.
are fine.
That's true. Well, at Summit 1, we were a little concerned about the address being out there, and all that kind of stuff. So when that guy showed up on day 0, it kind of confirmed some of our worst fears that someone somewhere knows our address and figured out how to get it. So we started getting concerned about what if we got swatted, they break down the door, first thing they see, Ukrainian flag and Velat and Casper screaming at each other in Ukrainian. That is a disaster waiting to happen
Yeah.
here.
That
Luckily,
was
that
horrible.
never occurred. But my God, we talked about it. We had some contingency plans in case that was the case.
People that have been swatting are starting to get fucked real hard now.
I
So-
saw that one guy got 10
Real
years in
hard.
jail.
Good.
getting
Fuck
fucked real
that.
hard.
Fuck that shit.
It's a big deal.
And can I tell another story from Kiev?
Sure, man. Hit us
All
with
right, so the Star Ladder crew and Tonya, not Tanya, because first time I met her, I was like, "Oh, your name's Tanya," and she's like, "Not American, Tanya, Tonya." Okay, Tonya. That girl is great, by the way. Cracks me up. I hope she's at every event. But anyway, so her and the Starlighter crew take me to go do this piece of content, like on their version of Twitter, which is also Instagram, which is also something else.
it.
It's like
VK.
VK. Yeah. They take me to go to this like local Kiev eatery place, and they're giving me all this like local food, and so I never had borscht before. You guys ever had borscht?
It's like a beet
The
stew.
watery soup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, like the soup. That shit is fucking awesome. And apparently, you're not supposed to. I thought it was like a sauce, right? So I was like dipping it into everything, and everybody was getting like real weirded out because we're like at a 5-star restaurant in like Kiev, like downtown Kiev, and they were bringing out like the food, all the like Kiev chicken and shit, that basically just a giant chicken nuggets and shit. And I just dunk it in the borscht and I ate it because I thought that was the way that you do it. Anyway, so they bring out this dessert. I didn't know it was a dessert. It was just a thing in a cup. It was like this gelatinous, like goo, raspberry goo. And I poured the borscht in it and I ate it. It was actually really good. And like the face she made was of the most disgusting contempt. She's like, "Oh!" Apparently it was kind of like putting a cupcake into a tomato soup or some shit, but it was delicious. Anyway, the guy that's doing the stream is like, like, "What are you doing? You're insulting the nation. Please don't pour the
Fucking
borscht
American
into the
dipping all
dessert."
your shit into everything.
Anyway, so I made Tanya have it. I like poured a spoon in her dessert and she drank it. She looked like she was gonna puke. I never know how that went. I don't speak Russian, so I don't know how VP enjoyed that. But the guy later was like, "Hey, you and the borscht thing, really popular, dude. People were sending me messages all day about how they like mixing the borscht with the dessert." And I'm like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, everyone was real disgusted, and now there's threads everywhere about how borscht and the dessert are amazing." And I fucking told you.
Did you
It
just
takes
change
a-
the country? That
It
could
takes a
matter
fat
in like 100
American
years,
to
dude.
teach you how to eat, Euros. Trust me.
That is actually pretty dank, dude. You started the new hot trend in downtown Kiev. You mixed the borscht with the dessert.
Borscht is the shit, guys. I want some fucking borscht, okay?
That's a pretty
Didn't
good
Roman-
story.
I heard that Roman wanted borscht when he was over there, right?
He loves
Suns fan?
borscht, yeah. Oh yeah,
Right.
he loves it.
I don't
He
know
actually
if I've
made
ever
it
had
for us. He actually made it for us. It's I want to go to Ukraine or Russia and actually try like a 5-star restaurant. How much is like a 5-star restaurant meal?
Not
in
that
Ukraine?
much.
It's pretty cheap, right?
I don't know. It's fucking Ukraine money. It's Monopoly money. It's not real. So Right?
Sure, that's how it works.
Well,
yeah.
last time I was there for Star Ladder, Cinderin was there, and he insisted that we go out for a nice, classy steak dinner to start the event. And I think we all ate. We had appetizers, we had beers, the full works, and I think we each paid like $18 total.
Is that
Oh,
when you
I
got like
want-
the
no,
squirts
I
and just got horribly sick?
Huh? Oh no, that was the Saturday night before the finals. We went out drinking and feasting with Velat and Co. And Cinderin got food poisoning, and he was probably a little overserved, so it was a brutal finals day. I think he had a few tactical chunders in the bathroom. Let's put it that way.
Jesus Christ.
Never
Not good.
drink with the Russians.
No.
Never. When I took Chelsea to Summit as a driver, it was her birthday, and the Russians found out it was her birthday. I have never seen someone cry because they were so drunk. Nothing was wrong with her. She was just sitting in the bed crying, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "The Russians. I'm so drunk. I don't even know." Like, oh God!
I went
Apparently,
drinking with
she
her.
outdrank the lot. She
Oh, God.
got fucked up.
Wait, this is Chelsea?
Yes.
Yep.
She drank like one beer and what?
Yeah. No, she drank
But-
like one beer at the
Impressive.
Moonduck house and she was fucked. Apparently, she had like 27 or 28 shots of hard Russian vodka.
Good
she was
lord.
fucked.
I'm glad
That was
she
in her
didn't die
prime
first.
then. Now she's
That
a
was in her
lightweight.
prime. Yeah, that ruined her. Her body does not take alcohol anymore. Avoid the Russians.
My God. All right, gang. I think it's time to wrap this up unless someone has one final story. Suns fan, Purge, anything?
Sorry, guys. I got nothing.
I got nothing.
No
to
poop
say.
stories? Okay.
Oh.
I can work on that, but no.
Well, boys, that was fun. We should do
Let's
these
go
more
play
often.
some PUBG.
Woo. Have you played PUBG yet, Purge?
No, I was gonna go play pub games though.
Well, there you
It's
go.
the same.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Except it's basically like World War Z, more or less, right?
It's like H1Z1 kind of.
Or yeah, same thing.
Yeah, like survival mod type deal. It's surprisingly fun. I recommend
It's
it.
amazing.
Oh.
All right, gang. So you'll find this guy on the YouTube for Moonduck, youtube.com/moonducktv. The podcast itself, the audio file and all that will be cataloged on the website, moonduck.tv/podcast. That's where you'll find the home of What the Duck, and I think it's still not on iTunes. I'm pretty sure we gave up. Nobody uses iTunes anymore anyway. So,
Okay.
all right, we'll see you next time whenever we decide to do another What the Duck. Hopefully we'll get one in before TI. If not, we'll see you at TI, folks.
3 months.
Bye-bye.
Really hope so.
3 months, dude? Jesus.